Yeah, Luke,
Yeah.
did you get the email link?
Yeah. Received.
Okay, cool.
Right.
All right.
I'm gonna log in about probably 5 6 seconds. I'll be on.
Okay. All right. All right. We're ready when you get there.
All right.
Yo,
Yeah, man, you caught me on the road.
Kevin.
Yo,
What's up, Noop?
what's up, Noob?
Give me one moment.
You good?
Right.
Almost showtime, huh?
Almost showtime, baby.
Need money.
You looking good, brother?
Yo, same to you, Fi.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Go ahead, handle your business.
All right. Here we go. Hey, this is Connection. I'm your host, Gary Rockman, and you are tuned into Connection. Yes. Excited. Got a good friend of mine, my frat brother, as our guest today, and we are going to, I think you guys are going to enjoy this show. I mean, he's doing some amazing things out in Columbus, Ohio, and we're going to find out more about what he's doing there and actually how you can stay connected with him no matter where you are in the country. As a matter of fact, I even think he is doing some things globally. So, but before, let's just touch on a couple of things. So a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, we want to do the blog, and I think the blog that I'm going to pick is one that's really appropriate for today's discussion. Why? Because my good friend is also an entrepreneur, and we have had countless talks about just being in this space of entrepreneurship and kind of really kind of eating what you kill, right? Going out there and hunting. And sometimes we don't always catch anything. Sometimes we catch nothing. Sometimes it's not and then when we do catch things, sometimes it's not what we intend to catch. So it's not adequate, or sometimes we don't feel that it's adequate at the time. But each day that we actually get up and go out there and hunt is a day of opportunity. So I think, again, this one is one that I wrote back in January, and it's called $1 Billion of Work. So you can get this, again, if you're getting this via YouTube, you'll be able to go to Gary Rockman, and you'll be able to pick this up there on YouTube. So GaryRockman.com, go to GaryRockman.com, and you'll be able to find the blogs there. But here we go. It's, again, $1 billion of work. How hard can one work to be a billionaire? How much physical effort does it take to turn out $1 million? Can you really work so hard that your input equals output? The examples of the lives of the people I follow, like Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, Reginald Lewis, Warren Buffett, Robert Smith, say no. Now, yes, you do have to work hard, but none of these people or the countless people I've interviewed would say their physical effort was the biggest factor of their success. How hard can one work to be a billionaire? How much physical effort does it take to turn out $1 million? Well, the short answer is no one is physically capable of doing such a thing. Some might think of athletes as a counter-argument, but if they really think about it, professional athletes' greatest attribute is not their physical ability, but more their high mental ability to call greatness out. Our greatest strength is our will and its ability to connect with the universe, to call into existence what we desire, which simply means our success comes from a greater place than our material selves. I've heard many successful people tell stories of how they wrote down, spoke, and even envisioned their dreams, only to shortly after doing so have an unexpected person or thing come into their lives that provided the game-changing thing that was needed to propel their success. I recall in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich of countless people who were either healed of sickness or changed the world because the dominating thought in their mind was to either heal themselves or change the human condition, eventually transform themselves into physical reality. So my study and even my own self-evaluation affirms this to be true. The majority of my success and failure has been the cause of what I have told and sold myself. So as you make your New Year's resolution, work on what makes them happen. but more importantly, believe that you deserve them and truly believe that they will happen. Be and it is. And again, folks, that is my blog that I'm going to read today. It is the one you can check it out January 2nd, 2019, $1 billion of work. With that, I don't want to actually, I was going to talk about some other little housekeeping things we can, it's kind of going on in social media, but I'm going to actually pass on that because I really do want to get the most time available to talk to our guest. So I want to bring him on. Without further ado, my frat brother and good friend, Brother Kevin Lloyd. Kevin!
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's the word, G?
Oh, man, miles. Today, baby, miles is the word.
Yeah, man. It's all about making your life entertaining. That's what we do. That's what Miles stands for. We work hard. My team and I work hard to make your life entertaining, guys.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, man, shoot, I want to, so I think for those who don't know, because I'm not going to actually even have you, I will have you go into a short story of who you are, because I know that you've been on the show before, so some have probably heard the story, but for those who are just getting acquainted with you, kind of share a little bit of a short story, not as much as you did before. They can go back to that show and check that one out, but to give people a little bit of insight of who you are, where you come from, and why you're here today doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll try to give the brief version. So originally from New York City, born and raised in Spanish Harlem, went to Tuskegee University, which is when I was graced with the ability to get connected and bonded with you some time ago, well over 20 years at this point, and received a degree in accounting, ended up in retail, spent 25 years in retail as an executive, relocated 10 times during that period in my tenure. But I started my first business about 14 years ago. That's the Lloyd of Columbus, the proprietary company, owner of ColumbusBlack.com in Columbus, Ohio. And then about 5 years ago, co-founded with my wife, Sherry Lloyd, we co-founded MYLE, MYLE, which stands for Make Your Life Entertaining, which is in the tech space. And over the last 5 years, we've been moving to bring this thing to market and really grow it. Now we're in a scale mode. So it's been amazing. What we've evolved into, as a short part of this story, is we've evolved into an entertainment software and lifestyle data analytics company. And what we're doing, Gary, is we're building solutions, software solutions to basically disrupt the entertainment, hospitality, and transportation industry. And today what we're talking about is MYLE, which is to make your life entertaining. That's our entertainment platform that we developed.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Shoot. So, man, I want to jump on in, brother, because there's been some things as well. So I think since you were on the show last time, because like I said, we've had a lot of conversations. You left corporate America at the time. I think you were kind of doing a little bit of both. So you had I kind of tell people you had your big toe in the entrepreneurial space, and you were kind of still, you were still kind of, in the corporate world. But then you kind of just dove in. You dove in like, So tell us what that was like. That transition, if you will, if you can be as transparent as you can, if there was fear, and kind of what really made you get over that fear to where I'm seeing you now, man, all over, not over, over social media, but even when I look at you now, Nuke, for real, like there's a different glow in you. There's a different glow of, and I know it's hard, right? But at the same time, seems to be a real passion for what you're doing, and kind of, if you can, kind of lay that out for folks so that others that are listening that may be on the edge, right, that are kind of like, man, I want to, but I'm scared.
No, that's the perfect one, right? So what led me, man, is it was some years of pressure on my heart and in my spirit that led me to take that step, which was a really big one. For many that know me well, they know that I was really successful in corporate America, and I enjoyed doing what I did. But for years, I knew that that's not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be having a greater impact on the lives of many more people than what I was doing in my current environment. So for me, there was definitely this internal tug that was leading me, because even though I would get up and I would do my job and do it well, it's like each day for too long, man. I would say well close to 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. My heart was really heavy knowing that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And so, you know, due to some great relationships like yours and others around me, some great mentors, you know, I kept getting words of wisdom. And then I began to position myself to basically make that step. So with my original business that I mentioned with ColumbusBlack.com, I was able to acquire some contracts that gave me the feel for the level of stability that I could create. So when I stepped away, I knew that there was some way to generate income into the household, which is really important, right? Because we, once again, like you said, we literally eat what we kill. So I knew I had to go after it. While at the same time, I knew with MYLE, it was a now or never situation where if we're going to get this thing off the ground, I have to be 100% into it to really make this work. And I knew from what God had blessed me with my skill set, my background, the resources, the doors he kept opening up, he made it really clear to me that, hey, I've given you everything you need to move forward. So what are you waiting on? And that message was loud and clear for me, man. So I made a decision, I determined a date, and I basically stepped away on August 1st of 2018.
Yeah.
That was also the first day of the National Urban League Conference in Columbus. And that was my first day fully an entrepreneur, going business.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Woohoo. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's
Yeah.
real. And like you said,
So,
there's so many people out there that's like that, right? It's tugging on them. It's tugging on them. So I'm glad you were able to share that piece. One other thing that
yeah,
I want to bring this to full circle, because you know, I believe, like, for those of us that are married, right, it is so vital, especially in this entrepreneurial space, to have supportive spouses. I can't really put in words the support that my wife has given me over the last 19 years in this business of real estate, that, you know, we've had ups and downs and everything else. But if you can too, and we know we you know, oftentimes, like the especially in this narcissistic society that we're living in currently, you know, I mean, I think it's always really existed, but with the current administration and whatnot, was even highlighted, I guess. But if you can as well, just share that support system. If you can talk a little bit about how that support system for you was also one of the things that helped you kind of be able to make the decisions that you make, and having her as that partner is kind of really giving you some good foundation, if you will.
Okay. So here's what I'll share, right? Because this is, you know, we're being transparent and open. And I know that, you know, in entrepreneurial circles, we have these discussions all the time. And it's really, really difficult when your spouse is not on the same page, right, with what you're trying to do from an entrepreneur standpoint. You know, there's a lot of time, effort, energy, hours, sacrifice. And when they are on the same page, it can be very pivotal, right? So one of the things that I would say is that internally we have not always agreed on everything. Fortunately for us, the one thing, I won't say the one thing, but one thing we definitely agree on is MYLE, as well as even with Columbus Black. Like, we completely see the potential of the business. So that support around, you know, driving the business and making it what it can be has definitely been pivotal to make me, like, keep going. What I will share, and this is something that I think a lot of people go through, is stepping away, though, from corporate America. Now that makes things really, really difficult, right? Why? Because I think we get this false sense of security and financials and things like that. So even though we see the big picture, when you decide that it's time to step away and you move in that security, that somewhat, I guess what we somewhat call a security blanket, which we know is not really security. Once you completely pull that regular paycheck away, that definitely creates a level of uncertainty, a level of ambiguity, and there's concerns, and that does create some imbalance. But I think keeping our eyes on the prize and knowing what could really happen with the business has allowed us to stay focused and really work together to really make this thing happen. And I know when I talk to other entrepreneurs, a lot of times they don't have that alignment, and it makes it really, really painful and difficult. So trying to understand both sides of the table is difficult and a challenge, but it's like, man, to have that alignment is critically important.
Yeah. And to your point, man, I mean, even with my wife, who is, I think is like probably one of the chillest people I know, we damn sure have not agreed on every piece of this. And I definitely am more, I'm the risk taker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Same here.
So, but I've seen I've seen even from the outside, others who don't have even nearly that type of buy-in from their spouse.
Yeah.
And
that's important.
Yeah, it's important. And so I saw at the same time, man, and I heard you mention her in the early part of your statement. So I just definitely wanted to kind of piggyback on that, because I think there are people again out there that are struggling, like what to do, right? Even and women as well who are the more ambitious, right? The more risk takers in their relationship, and they're dealing with someone who's a husband who's like, man, I'm just liking the regular job, So yeah, it's good. It's good talk. It's good talk. But tell us, man. So Mal has been popping up, man, all over my social media. I'm seeing you everywhere. I'm seeing you giving out, Stand With Folk, giving out big old checks. It's been something. So tell us kind of what the year has been since you walked away from corporate America, and some of the things that Mal has been engaged in, and what are some steps right now, and what if there are investors or whatever, or other people that you're looking to link up with. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man. So it's been a very interesting year. So a lot of learnings, and then one thing to understand, G, is that when you step away, you now have the time, because that's the biggest thing we sacrifice and we give up when we're actually in the corporate environment, is the amount of time that's needed for us to really go and grow. So that having that time allowed me to follow up, build some relationships. So we've been able to establish some awesome relationships and partnerships, and acquire some clients to really get the ball rolling. And I think the biggest one, so our focus to break it down, is to help everybody understand too, activity and entertainment platform that allows you to quickly and easily find things to do, places to go, and food to eat. So what we've been doing is growing out of our base in Columbus, Ohio, and expanding into certain markets. So you can find events right now anywhere pretty much in the world where you have access to the internet through your phone, either Android or iOS. But we intentionally focus on a few cities. So Columbus, we focus on New York, we focus on DC, Atlanta, and Las Vegas right now. But we're looking at a market expansion throughout the Midwest with a couple of other outskirts cities, including Miami and Las Vegas, over the next year. So we have some really key things going on in those markets. So over this past year, we've been able to focus on our two major channels from a B2B perspective, which is tourism and transportation. Within the tourism line, we've created a relationship with Experience Columbus, which is a tourism bureau in Columbus, Ohio. And we were tied to one of the major conferences that happens in the nation, which was the ASAE conference, where you have the association of all come in. These are the ones that are responsible for meeting, plannings, and figuring out where they're going to have their conferences and conventions over the next 10, 20 years. So we were able to play a role in that, which was pivotal for us. In addition to that, we picked up COSI, which is the #1 kids science museum, or on-hand science museum in the nation, in Columbus as well. We established a great partnership with the Greater Columbus Arts Council, which is the council that helps to ensure that there is support of the art in the city of Columbus and all of the different venues that hold these events. So that is a growing relationship we're excited about. And we've worked with the Columbus Sports Commission as well as some others. So we've been able to build those relationships, and we have a number of other ones I can't disclose now that are on the table that are strategic partnerships to help us drive, one, our visibility and downloads, but also to be able to generate revenue. So this last year has really opened up a lot of doors, and now we're looking at how do we scale nationally and really have a presence everywhere, as well as increase our technology, which I'll share a little bit more about that momentarily. So that's what the last year has really been about.
All right, man. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So you said now, so being in that tech space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not real familiar other than now, I do this show. And so I've been learning a lot. But
Yeah.
from the side that you're on, it's quite different. So share with us a little bit like if you can, share a little bit of that world from not just of how you kind of go about putting something like MYLE together so that people can reach it and be able to touch it, via their mobile devices, etc. But also some of the challenges, if you will, or if you have challenges as far as raising capital, if it's harder because you're a Black company, or do you find it, that there in your space that there's still places that you can navigate that are more open to the fact that maybe you're a Black company?
Yeah, so the tech space is really interesting, right? Because of the fact that, there's good sides to it, and then there's definitely some challenges or opportunities. The good side to it, so people understand, is that within the tech ecosystem is a very supportive ecosystem where if you're in tech and you meet somebody else in tech, we tend to help each other, support each other. Everybody wants to win. So it's really like the ideal of what we want our country to be like. Going back to that piece you mentioned earlier, we really do look to help each other. And people, a lot of times when we meet, it's literally like, what can I do to help you? Like, what do you need versus what do I need? So that's like the cool part of the system that we're in this technology space. On the other side of it, when it comes to being a person of color and, looking for funding, what it is there's definitely some challenges there, right? We've heard the numbers before, right? Less than 2% of Black-owned companies are funded. Less than 1% of women-owned minority-based companies or Black-owned companies are funded, from a VC perspective. So there's definitely some challenges, some implicit bias there. And that makes it more difficult because you can have a great idea, you can generate revenue, you can generate the interest, but when it comes to that dollar to get the support you need, it makes it really, really difficult. And the thing that I've been able to see and build relationships in this area is that there are a lot of us who do struggle with that. But I'll tell you what, is that determination as an entrepreneur means it all, because we're figuring out how to navigate through that, right? Whether it's crowdfunding. So, the thing that a lot of people don't understand, G, is that in order to, like, when you establish a company like mine, if you go through a traditional process to raise funds, is that if you create what they call a private placement memorandum, there's SEC regulations that allow you to only get funding from accredited investors, right? So those are people who make over either $200,000 annually individually, or $300,000 as a couple, or they have $1 million in assets, not including their primary residence. Well, as we know, we don't have a lot of friends in our circle that have that type of money on a regular basis. That's like, hey, I want to get behind you and support you. So due to some of the regulations that actually President Obama put in place while he was in office, now there's equity crowdfunding, right? So not like a Kickstarter, but more like a Start Engine, a Republic, a Wonder Fund. And there's some others out there where you can actually say, now, this is not just for accredited, this is for anyone to be able to invest in my company. Based off the fact that they want to, have a chance to invest in early stage startup, so that when they do grow, when they do get acquired, when they do exit with an IPO, is because these people get to now generate a significant amount of capital from that early stage investment. That has not always been the case, and it's only been about 3 years now that that's been in place. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2016. So this is now a way that a lot of people of color who have companies are starting to figure out, hey, I can now get my friends, my family, my supporters, my fans, and the general public to now support my company, and I can generate the money that I need to. They can get an equity stake in the business, and I can get the capital infusion to grow. While, by the way, at the same time, you still can raise money from accredited investors who do have the ability to put in a significant amount of capital, whether it's 100,000, 500,000, a million, whatever that may be, based off your capital raise.
Yeah, that's good stuff too, man. And I'm glad you shared and broke it down like that. So, so tell us, Ken, man, from, I know that you're doing a lot and there's some things on the horizon. If you share, are there opportunities of investment with MYLE right now? Are there crowdfunding opportunities? Are there accredited investor opportunities? What opportunities are out there right now for someone who's looking to get on the front end of this?
Yeah, so we currently are in a position where we are actually in the raising phase, right? And we can speak to accredited investors at this point in time, but we are very, very close to working on a crowdfunding opportunity as well. And as you know, between the support, the love, the friends, the network that we have with MYLE, it's a special opportunity to get involved. So when we do this, it definitely is a great opportunity for people to take a look at it. So we still have some work to do. I can't go into all the details at this point, but when the opportunity presents itself, we definitely want people to have that chance to support it. When you think about MYLE itself, right, in the entertainment piece, we all do the things that MYLE provides, right? Whether you're looking for something to do, someplace to go, or you're trying to figure out where to go eat. And the way we're transforming from a technology standpoint is we're leveraging user data, right? Machine learning, predictive analysis, and artificial intelligence to really provide you with relevant content based off of who you are and where you are, right? So those unique components, in addition to some really cool features that I can't disclose now, really make us competitive. And the cool part about that is that, you know, we look forward to the day when anybody can literally get involved, can invest in what they already do every single day. Right. So I think that's like one of the smartest and easiest decisions. It's almost like investing in credit cards because of the fact that you use credit cards every day. Right. So it's really that cool.
Okay. So now if I come to Columbus, Ohio, and I don't know, I love blues, right? I'm coming to Columbus, Ohio. I love blues. I get off the plane, I grab my bags. Man, I get what happens to my MYLE app? My phone is vibrating. What's going on? What is MYLE doing to let me to basically make my stay in Ohio a better visit?
Yeah. So today, one of the cool features is that let's say that you are in Columbus, Ohio. You get in town, and one thing you can do, which is similar to other platforms, you can obviously go on and you can search, but you can search by category. It's really easy to use. So if you're looking for blues, you can use the search engine, put blues in, it'll pull up anything relevant that has blues going on. You know, so it's easy to find. But the other part about that is that's what's really cool, especially for venue owners, promoters, entertainers, is that they can post an event right through the app, right? And when they post that event, anybody within 50 miles of them is going to receive an alert. And that alert is going to notify them of that particular event. Now, some people get a lot of alerts, so they have the ability to change their categories and say, I only want to receive alerts in the music category, for instance, right? So now you can reduce that. You can also adjust the frequency of how often you receive those alerts so you don't get inundated with them. But the thing is, we want that paradigm shift of, man, I had no idea that was going on today. To, I knew it was going on, but I made the decision not to go to that because I found out about this and we prefer to go there. So with you coming in the city, now you will start to receive those alerts and be notified of things that are relevant to you, which is really cool. And as we build out this recommendation engine, it'll really hone in even more. We got a really cool algorithm that we're working on to make that happen. So we're excited about that.
That's excellent, bro. Yeah, I like that. It's hot. It's hot. What you got going on in the near future, man? Stuff, you know, I know what you got going on in Columbus, Ohio, or other places in the country. I know you're doing something in Atlanta, Georgia soon. But what's some things you got going on around the country?
Man, so there's certain things I can't yet. I'll start here. So in Columbus, I'm a part of a team that's working on something really special to help build the ecosystem here in Columbus, Ohio, especially around people of color, to really help close the gaps that exist, right? So one of the things that I've touted, especially when I was on a prior radio show, Gary, is the fact that we have got to close this wealth divide. And the way that we close the wealth divide is through education in this technology space, right? So I'm an advocate to tell people, you have got to get involved with technology. Whether you decide that I'm going to build my own business, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and I'm going to create technology. If you decide that, hey, I'm going to go work in an IT professional environment and provide that, have that skill set to either code or do UX or UI and really help, you know, whether it's development ops, whatever it's going to be. Or if you decide that, hey, I'm going to invest in technology. So I'm investing in these companies, these early stage companies, these established companies, and I'm going to make money off of technology. You've got to play in one of those arenas. So right now I'm working with a team and we're looking to help create an ecosystem to help people understand how to do that and to actually foster that, right? So without sharing a lot more around that, there's more to come later this year. That's probably one of the big things that I'm excited about because it's transformational. Yeah, it's truly transformational. The second thing is that
before you go to the second thing, man, that one you just dropped on is so powerful, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, for real. Like we can't brush over that one, man. You hit the gap is real.
It's serious.
And
the gap is real.
And I don't think a lot of people realize, but someone broke it down to me like this a few years ago from a technology standpoint.
Yeah.
That there are so many people who are illiterate from a technical standpoint, and that being the really future of how we'll communicate on all levels is more detrimental almost today than people not knowing how to read. And that gap that you're talking about with us not even, when we talk about, that's just the basics of understanding. But what you're really talking about is actually being engaged in these markets to the point where you can benefit from that boom or from that paradigm shift that we're basically having. So can you touch on that a bit more on why that's so important in this space?
Yes, it's critically important. So, if I look at some of the numbers, right? So if you look at it, from a population standpoint, we're at about 13, a little over 13% of the population, right? African-Americans, right? And our spending power was like 8%, right? Like 8.1. So it was like a 5% difference in regards to our spending power versus our population. So that's a huge, huge gap. And when you look at it, it comes from, not having that institutional wealth or that foundation. So when you look at how do you close that gap, technology is the way that you close that gap because it is the way the current, and the future. And if we don't begin to be positioned to generate a certain amount of income and or wealth, that technology advancement is only going to increase that gap, right? So we've got to get on the other side of the equation because we use technology, right? So if you think about it, it wouldn't be a Black Twitter if it wasn't for Black folks, right? So if you think about it, and if you think about the high population on Facebook and our Instagram and how we use these platforms, it's a thing of not just using them, but creating the technology, right? We're playing games all day long. Well, how about create and develop the games? So there's a shift that has to take place in order for us to be able to begin to generate the wealth that's tied to the advancement of technology in our society. Otherwise, we're in big trouble. Yeah. So helping people to understand how to get involved, because everybody's not going to immerse themselves in tech, but that doesn't mean you can't invest wisely in technology, right? And then the same thing is, maybe you're not investing, but you are getting your education or you are learning. And by the way, what a lot of people don't understand too around the education piece, G, is like we all support the advancement, right, from an education standpoint. But our world is changing around us really, really fast. And when it comes to going to college to get your post-secondary education or get your degree versus going into one of these jobs, right, furthering your education, but going into one of these manufacturing jobs, and it's not like old school manufacturing, we're talking technologically based manufacturing, or one of these other positions where you're coding or you're doing something tech-wise and coming out of high school, making significant amounts of income is shifting because automation and AI, we talk about AI and a lot of people are not realizing it is changing our entire landscape and it's happening really fast. So as jobs go away, it's going to create the opportunity for more tech positions and or entrepreneurship, which you talk about all the time, and wealth generation opportunities. So it's a paradigm shift mentally in regards to how we need to look at what's happening around us, be very strategic of how we're positioning ourselves to be able to generate the income in our There you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We
You
lost
back?
you. Yep. Lost you for a minute there, but
Okay.
no. Good stuff, man. One of the things I'm a good friend of, and was kind of weird because I didn't realize the connection at one point of why she transitioned. But I'm good friends of a sister named Angel Rich, if you know who that is. But she was Forbes says she's the next Steve Jobs. Had a career in finance with J.P. Morgan Chase for years. Helped to grow make them billions of dollars. Then she branched off on her own, started her own tech company. And I, at the time, I interviewed a little over a year ago, didn't really understand the transition of like, man, how does that really make sense, right? How do you go from finance into this tech space? But she's doing her thing in that arena, and one of my kids' mentors. But to your point, it makes a lot more sense. I'm a lot clearer about it today than I was at the time. And you laying that out there as eloquently as you did as well, it just drives that point and that understanding even better. So I appreciate that, man. I really do. But yeah, now you were going to tell us
Absolutely.
step 2 of what you got going on as well.
Yeah. So then outside of Columbus, I'll tell you, I want to share something. This is a plug. Actually, I had the opportunity to participate in a startup boot camp by the name of NEWME. That's NEWME out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And Candace Matthews Brackeen is the founder, and it was actually facilitated by Brian Brackeen. And man, I'll tell you what, it was a blessing. I learned a lot of things in the 5-day period that would have helped me 4 years ago, but everything is about timing. So that was really, really instrumental in how I'm thinking about some things from a technological perspective and how we advance. But right now we are working on, our expansion outside of Columbus. As a matter of fact, even this afternoon, I have a meeting in a particular city in the Midwest, and then we have another one next week. And we're really working on this expansion piece. And then I mentioned earlier, taking a look at some things in Miami and Vegas. So just excited about what we're going to be able to do in some of these other markets as we continue to grow the business.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
2020 will be a big year.
2020, baby. All right. Well, anything else you want to share, man? Anything else you want to share? Let people know to be on the lookout for and just places that you guys may be.
Yeah. So here's what I would say is the cool part about MYLE is while we're focused on some key cities, MYLE can take off in any market at any point in time that the market decides that they want to make it happen, right? So if you are a promoter and you look to get your information out, if you're a venue owner and entertainer, you literally, once again, could go and post your event on MYLE. And as I said, anybody in your market that has the platform will receive an alert. So you can today begin to utilize it, spread the word, share the word, get people to download the app, use the app. And that way they don't have to say, I didn't know that was going on. They don't miss out anymore. Like today, you all have the ability to leverage the platform to your best ability and have fun with it. In addition to using it, the app is free, right? So it's free to use. If you want to promote your event, it only costs you $2.99, Gary. $2.99. That's it. Okay. So inexpensive. And then the reason why is because I've been a promoter, I've been a venue owner, I've been a tourist, right? So I've been on every side of the spectrum. And what I know and I've learned is that people are struggling with having the marketing dollars.
Yes, the marketing dollars are tough.
Right? Like everybody wants to get the word out. So how do you do?
Yeah, those marketing dollars. Those marketing dollars,
Yeah.
that's real, man. And we know that in order to grow a business, we really should have it. You know, it's been told to me by my mentors, at least 60%, if you're a startup, needs to be actually going towards your marketing. So to be able to do something like that for as little as
Yeah.
$2.99 is yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. So, and then the other part about that is as you and I talked earlier, you mentioned it, right? I came from really humble beginnings. And so a big part of our social impact, right? So as I talked about that technology bridge, right, and how we need to close that wealth gap, we know that a lot of dollars can be generated through this type of technology platform. So part of our goal is that by 2025, we
Mhm.
want to expose and educate at least 25,000 inner city socioeconomically disadvantaged youth by exposing them to education, the arts, entertainment, the arts, and travel. And we literally will fund that and support those organizations where these youth are already involved. So we're excited about that and being able to give back to expose them. And the reason why is because if you can expose a child, as you know, outside of their 10-block radius, you can change their mindset. If you can
Absolutely.
change their mindset, you can change their life. If you can change their life, you can change the world. And as I always ask, how do I know that? Because I'm that kid, right? That happened to me. I was exposed. I saw different things. I had the opportunity to learn, to grow. And now it's time to truly pay forward and leverage technology to do that. So that's the other reason why when it comes to using MYLE, everyone should want to use it. Use the $2.99 to promote your events. 5% of every dollar we make is going back into those communities to help those kids see more.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, if folk want to reach out and connect with you, Kevin, directly, how
Yeah.
can they reach you? What's your connections?
Yeah, I think that the best way actually right now too is to use my Kevin Lloyd, the leader handle on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Instagram, and on Twitter it's K Lloyd the leader. Okay, so I do some speaking engagements, and I have a little video series as well, Gary, where they can listen to some of the things that I talk about, especially like what's your gift and how to use your gift and all those motivational components. And I'll be sharing how I actually accomplished a lot of the things that I've accomplished by the grace of God, of course, but walking through some of those details. But Kevin Lloyd, the leader at gmail.com is the email. And then once again, on Facebook and on Instagram, Kevin Lloyd, the leader. On Twitter, K Lloyd, the leader.
Oh, good stuff, brother. Appreciate you sharing, man. Appreciate you
Yeah,
sharing. Hey, Kevin, man, I love you, brother. It's great to have you on. Appreciate you doing the show again and just updating us on
absolutely.
MYLE. Hope to, have you on, many times again as this thing continues to grow and blossom and
Yeah.
you really reach the world. And but yeah, brother, I'm proud of you, man. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, and thanks for coming on, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity, what you're doing with Connection, your support along the way from the beginning up to now. And then the last thing for me, man, is my team. So, just support it with an amazing team and family members and a lot of patience there. So I just want to thank everybody involved. Sherry's my co-founder. She's out here grinding, trying to make it happen. So I want to give her a shout. And then the rest of my team who's plugging along and those that are about to join our team that we're excited about as well. So I
Good,
appreciate you.
good deal. Good deal. Hey, folks, that is
All right.
our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But hey, until next week, folks, until next week, this is Gary Rockman, your real estate rock star. You've been listening to Connection. Until next week, keep moving forward.